Hey, hey, hey! How are you guys doing out there? Glad it's week. We have some very special things happening this week. I think we'll definitely be talking about stuff that has never happened before. But it'll be interesting. We have everybody here. Elections are more like pretty much this sums up most elections. Eat this, not that. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Maybe not, but this guy made some sort of meaning to me. I got some other stuff here. The fish in Michigan. Always something we have. We got to make sure the fish in Michigan are there. And I got this new card that is basically it's a national parks card. And basically what it does, if you're over the age of a certain age, like 62, you can take this card, pay like $80, and for the rest of your life, you do not have to pay to get into any national park. Now, I know you're jealous of me at this point, but I don't get much on a couple of other things. Oh, that's right. It's the off night, and I'm going to stop talking. So right now, I want to introduce your host. Please welcome Mr. Mark Sweetman.
All right. Thank you very much. Andy. Good to be back with everybody. Let me take that music down. There we go.
Nice shirt. Wait for the Detroit Lions, huh?
It's my Lions shirt. Yeah. Bought it at the I can't remember the name of the place now, but it's cheaper. This was a $25 shirt, where if I bought it at the stadium, it was like $60. So.
Oh God, yes, yeah.
Oh, so.
Everything at the stadium is expensive.
Yeah. So anyway, how's your week?
Well, it's been interesting. Had some interesting runs. I've been trying to pay off a lot of bills. I had to work a lot around the clock. I'm trying to recount this one run that she sent me a message, like she was out under a tree and she was waiting for me. And it's like, I sometimes they'll just put like locations that are not anywhere near where the GPS is sending you. And
why can't they just hit the pin that's on their phone?
I have no idea. It's a novel thing. But anyway, I've been got a lot of compliments on the van size. I got leg room. Thank God I got leg room. Then I had a family just did the whole trip after.
This van is so big.
Compared. And then I had a family, and nobody said a word for a whole hour.
Wow! How far did where did you take in that you were driving for an hour?
Well, it's kind of a little bit north of what is that place? Sterling Heights, a little further north of Sterling Heights.
Yeah, I could see there's certain times of the day that would take an hour. I grant you that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, and then the final word was, "We'll talk about this inside." It's like, so.
That was it. They were silent for a whole hour. Then they said they'd talk about it inside. That's funny.
Yeah. Apparently, the daughter had done something, and I don't know what it was, but she was not. She was like 13 and grading on her mother the whole trip, pretty much. That's what I got the gist from.
All right. Well, you go a long way from Ipsy.
Yeah, I mean back in the old days, in the Yellow Cab days, we'd have just the territory, Ypsilanti, Ann Arbor. That was it. Then we drop off in Ann Arbor, or drop off me at the airport and come back. But without this Uber and Lyft, you're basically all over the place. And I went to Battle Creek this week, and that was pretty fascinating.
Well, that must have been much.
Yeah,
I guess so.
It's good. I had a person that was going all the way. I told her about the, you gotta take the tour. Get your Tony the Tiger spoon. You gotta get your Tony the Tiger spoon.
I've never done that. As many times as I've been to Battle Creek, I've never done that tour.
Oh wow. Well, I had my Tony the Tiger spoon. I have to go back and get another one because it's my one that I had at 5 is lost. So gotta take the tour.
I would think by now I think by now it would have been worn down. But anyway. Because you've had it since you were 5, Well, maybe you didn't eat with it every meal, so
tarnished and bent.
All right, well, let's bring. There we go. Let's bring Susan out here for a poem, and we'll get that.
Poem, yes.
We'll get that going. Get our show going. Oh, there she is. Look at her. Oh, you look great, hon.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for joining us. And I'm ready to put you right there on the screen all by your lonesome if you're ready to go with your poem.
I have the poem right here, hot off the press.
Yep. All right, here you go.
Hi, everybody. All right, here's your poem tonight. First, the debate with Trump faux facts. With discredit aimed at Biden came the attacks. Then a shock took a firefighter's life, followed by ear fashion, giving us strife. Now Biden's dropped out, no longer a candidate. Michelle Obama's not running. Can you handle it? Come on, Olympics. We need a distraction from all this unnerving political action. And that's your poem.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Short but sweet. Thank you. And let's bring out the other guys here so that you can say hello. I know you always like to get back to your tasks. And here is from New York City, everybody's favorite smart aleck, Sam Greenfield, everybody.
Hi, Sam.
If you want to bring Jason on, I'll tell this after you bring him on.
Okay, let me get Jay. Okay, also from Ipsatucky, please a warm welcome for Jason
Ipsatucky?
Ipsatucky.
That's right. Where our town motto is "Wake up, sis. You ain't my blood sister, so this ain't wrong."
Ooh.
You know what? Oh.
You're my brother from the same mother.
Well, that's like Jim Norton. He does a joke and it bombs, and he goes, "I haven't been this nervous since my father crawled in bed with me and started singing Turn Around Bright Eyes."
No.
Turn around, Bright.
Well, as you see, I turn around. I got LBJ, which is well. Never mind. I did that last week. We'll let that go for now.
So I'm on the subway, and there's a 13-year-old girl
Yes.
who is what's the word I'm looking at? Not smarmy, just a little shit. Okay. and she's giving her mother a hard time, and her mother says, "Say that." I don't know what she said, but she said, "Say that to me one more time, and you will not have an allowance for a year." And the girl says, "You are so lucky. My father's dead." And the mother goes, "You got that right."
You were involved in one of those rare conversations that you want to overhear. Usually they're ones you don't want to overhear, but every once in a while you get a good one.
I'm not above going, "Excuse me, could you turn it up a little? I'd like to eavesdrop."
I can't hear what you said the last time. Okay.
Sounds like a teenage girl. There are various versions of that from 13 to 19.
But you know something, to be honest, we don't know what triggered it. I mean, for all we know, the girl says something like, "Mom, I don't know. Okay, I just don't." We don't know. Maybe the mom was having. I'm just saying in defense of the daughter. Maybe the mom was just having a bad day, and she triggered something. You don't know. I mean, I couldn't hear the girl raise her voice. She wasn't being like a loud little snot. So, I mean, obviously the odds are good that the kid was doing something wrong, but you really don't know.
No, you don't. You only know what you heard, and you don't know the context around it either.
Well, hell, I can fill in the blank with something salacious, though. Make my day.
I mean,
would have been nice to have a recording of that, so Andy could have played it for his ride for an hour without anybody talking.
I did think I overheard the daughter, who looked to be about 13 or 14. I think I heard her say, "Oh, big deal. What's wrong with him being 30?" I thought I heard. I thought maybe
about Auntie Flo not being in town this month, but whatever. Same thing.
Is that LBJ, Jason?
Who else would it be, Sam? Who else?
Lyndon Baines Johnson?
That would be him. That would be the man himself. I love what someone said about Biden earlier in the week.
Biden's
like LBJ, just retarded.
What's that?
Jason? This one guy was talking. He said, Biden is like LBJ, only retarded. Well, I know. You guys all love Biden and everything, but LBJ was a brilliant politician, an absolute psychopath, total psychopath. But
people don't give him enough blame for what he did.
Exactly.
He faked a war that cost us 50,000 American lives. He faked a war.
Oh, and 2 million Vietnamese, just for fun. I mean, think how many noodles they could have made for us, or tennis shoes or something. I mean, let's not be cold-hearted about the whole affair.
And let's not be naive. We didn't give a rat's ass about preserving democracy in Vietnam. It was about the fact that place is a treasure trove of natural resources.
Yes, that has a lot more to do with it now. Yeah, same thing goes with South Korea. We're worried about making sure that Syngman Rhee is in place.
Syngman Rhee. Oh my God.
Yeah, all the way through. Remember when Park Chung-hee's wife was damn near knifed to death, like in '79, and most of the population was standing around going, "Nice, oh dear." Yeah. That was...
what we need? We need Korea, Japan, and China for what we need that for is for the stories of the workers who commit suicide when they fail. So the American businesses say, the American businesses can say, "See, we got to go to Asia for our labor because they'll do the right thing."
Those guys know how to take a hint.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
See, just
the USS Pueblo was actually a mine sweeper. Okay.
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
it was.
I know this has nothing
to mines and looking for gems. It was like.
I know this has nothing to do with what's going to determine the outcome of the election.
Right.
But Joe Biden resigned. What was it? Monday?
Yeah, he left
the 21st.
Saturday.
No, he sent a letter was released. We don't know what he did. We know.
But let's say it was a Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was Sunday. It was the 21st.
The Republican Party.
It was yesterday.
The Democratic Party, with her as the presumed candidate, brought in $80 million.
Well, did you hear the PAC back on?
Did you hear that
$80 million.
PAC got the PAC got? I can't remember the name of the PAC, but one of the Democratic PACs got $210 million.
Wow!
So
easily, yeah, they turned the money tap back on.
And by the way, for me, I can't speak for any of you because I just can't. But for me, the highlight of the Republican convention was, and it's not close. Okay, it was Kimberly Guilfoyle. It's not even. There's no one close. She is the Shohei Ohtani of that of that convention. Okay, she hit it out of the park. And I don't know if it's landed yet. When she did something that you can't make up. If I told you this happened, you would tell me I'm making it up. Okay, she says a prayer for Trump, and crosses herself, and literally minutes later is scratching her hoochie.
Yeah,
it is.
I did not see
your
the
hoochie
video.
like it's a bad thing,
and I don't want to.
Maybe that was the continuation of the sign of the cross. She just has a different vertion.
You are going straight to hell, Mark. You're going straight to hell, and when you get there, you're going to find out I'm in charge, and we're listening to my Golden Lightfoot bootleg collection. And
the only thing that would bother me about hell, Jews don't believe in hell because there's no AC. But the only reason, the reason. Wait! You're telling me it's going to stay this hot? No, the reason.
Norm, High, and Max.
Exactly. Manny, Mo, and Jack at your service.
Listen,
but no, the only thing that bothers me about hell is that there's a good chance that the only music you're going to hear is Lawrence Welk.
No.
Oh,
I told you the story about Welk, that he was really cheap and he paid everybody like union minimum.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
and that they had a guy. They used to do this song on Lawrence Welk, and yes, I'm old enough to remember it. Was that everybody? His three singers are going, "Hope you had a happy time, happy time, happy time. Hope you had a happy time." And they were sponsored by Dodge cars. And they go, and this bass singer goes, and I can't sing bass, but he goes, "Dodge had a good time too, right?" And this guy was getting fired by Welk because he asked for a raise.
Oh, wow.
And this is what he did. He goes, hope you had a happy time, happy time, happy time. Hope you had a happy time. The guy sings, Lawrence Welk pay scale.
Oh, on live television?
Uh-huh.
Live.
And by the way,
I would think that if you had
that show was like 5th or 6th in the ratings, and they canceled it.
If you had an announcer, if you're a skinflint like Lawrence Welk, right, and you have an announcer to ask for a raise, and you're not going to give it to him, why would you let him go back on the air? That's a chance that Welk took right there.
That you know where that happens more than you might think? In restaurants. I've worked in restaurants where they go, listen, you're fired. Now go out there and finish the shift. What?
Oh my God.
Huh?
Yeah. How does that work? I mean,
what has he got between those burger rolls? Oh my God, that's not cow meat.
How do the salt shakers and the sugar bowls not get switched? I mean, I don't know how that.
Yeah.
How did that happen? Wait a minute. When I asked for a creamer, hold the phone. I'm on Fuego tonight. Do you hear me?
I heard you. This is why Jason thinks this show can go big.
I'm sure there was some real news in the world, but everything's political now. So hopefully next week we'll have some Olympic news and things to talk about.
Well, the Olympics are next week.
Yeah,
that's what I said.
Now, I think don't they always put the Olympics between the two conventions?
Well, I don't know why. I don't know. Well, no, the Olympics are. Excuse me. The Olympics are scheduled when they're scheduled.
Oh, okay.
They don't pay any attention to any, and I mean any.
Well, and considering how many people watch the conventions anymore, they might as well just not even, they don't care on network. Remember when all three networks had the convention on? Now you can barely get it on cable.
Well,
I know.
They usually have stuff that would happen. I mean,
there'd be something dramatic.
But it's been literally 50 years. What, 72 was the last one that had any kind of drama?
A brokered convention. I'd like to see. You know what? I'd like to see the convention decide the vice presidential candidate. Just something that would be kind of cool.
Sometimes, yeah. Well, maybe you wouldn't end up with a Thomas Eagleton. You'd end up with a Sergeant Shriver to begin with.
It's so sad about Eagleton. I met him. I think I told you this.
He was a decent man
at a congressional softball game. And the two things I remember about him were he smoked Lucky Strikes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is when everybody smoked. He smoked Lucky Strikes, and he said to me, "Where do you go to college?" And I said, "I go to Howard University." And he goes, "Is someone playing a joke on you?" And I said, "No, I chose to go there." He goes, "Well, that's very courageous." I said, "Well, I didn't wander into enemy territory. I mean, I wasn't armed." And he goes, "Yeah, but it's you're a young white kid." I said, "And they're young black kids. It's fine."
Yeah, it's all right.
So I thought, he's a nice guy, but it was like, are you scared someone's going to sneak up behind you and go booga wooga? I mean, Jesus Christ, man, take it easy. I said, "What are you, nuts?" Oops.
Hey, look, it was what it was. I mean,
But you know something? McGovern should have stuck with him.
No. He should have never had him to begin with.
No, his opening line would have been, "I love that daffy bastard."
Yeah.
Hey, Dizzy, come over here.
I know you guys are worried that he's a heartbeat away from the most powerful position on earth, but he entertains us though.
Yeah.
Who did?
We had Thomas Eagleton. He entertains us, so we got to have him around. So
every now and then we plug him in and let him do his thing.
Of whom are we speaking?
Eagleton.
Oh, Eagleton. Yeah. He's dead, isn't he?
Yeah, he's been dead by now. He'd be 108 years old by now. So I guess
doesn't mean he's dead.
That's true. All right. You got me on that one. That's true.
All right. Well, you guys may want to congratulate me on my adroit political observation from 18 months ago when I was saying Kamala Harris is the one who probably should be running, and they should be grooming her to get her in.
You did say that.
And I want to know why Trump is saying, I may not debate her.
Because he wouldn't win.
I don't know about that.
She's a prosecutor.
She's a smart woman.
You think he's scared of her?
No.
Yes, she's a prosecuting attorney.
Let me tell you something about her, Jason. You remember that moment during the debate between Trump and Clinton when he was standing behind her?
Yes.
Oh no, you strung up.
Kamala Harris would have turned around and said, "Are you going to move, or do I have to move you?"
Hey, but also consider this, Sam.
There's a difference in generations right there. That's a 25-year age difference between those two.
Yeah.
Well, is it? No. She's 55.
She's 55.
Yeah, not 80. Well, she's almost 80. I guess you're right. Yeah.
And how old is Hillary? I mean, they're about 25
Hillary's
years
about
apart.
76. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Frankly, I would much prefer if Hillary were nominated, and I have to wonder if that won't happen. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I don't know.
No, she's not sticking. No, she's not sticking her toe in that water again. Trust me.
No,
she's done. She's done.
Well, there's no way.
No.
The whole reason they got rid of Biden is because he was old. You're going to hire two old people to take her place
because they knew he would lose. That's why they got rid. They didn't give a shit about his age. The fact is,
they knew he'd lose because of his age. His age. His ability.
3 reasons they got rid of. 3 reasons Biden quit. 3 reasons. 1,
he didn't
the big money dried up. 2, the disastrous debate performance.
Right.
And 3, he didn't get sharper as the time went on.
No, when his interview with BET over the weekend, just a little bit before the weekend, where he identifies his Secretary of Defense as the black dude. No, I'm sorry, the black guy.
He did not.
He certainly did. It's on tape. You can look at it. It's on YouTube.
Did he really?
I don't make shit up, Sam. I don't have to. That's the neat thing about politicians. They do enough shit. Not just Democrat. I mean, they all.
Sam's right in that it was the money drying up in the debate,
He's
but
right,
it was the debate. It was the debate that caused the money to dry up.
Exactly.
Well,
my one call a day asking for money became 3 after that debate.
But let me say this. Obama had a bad debate. It wasn't the fact. It wasn't just. It was the bad debate combined with Biden seeming disoriented. Biden literally walking more slowly.
First off, Obama had 1 bad debate out of 3 with the powerhouse that was Mitt Romney. And that says it all right there.
Did you see what Aaron Sorkin wanted to have happen?
Isn't Aaron Sorkin the one who hired the hit squad from Temu to get the job done? And
no. He's the guy who wrote West Wing.
Same thing.
He said that he wanted Mitt Romney to run as the Democratic candidate. And I thought only a guy in Hollywood would do something that stupid.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Mitt Romney.
Only Aaron Sorkin could pull that off.
Right.
And it would be fiction, right?
Yeah.
He has no idea.
No. Now, Sam, you're in New York. I don't know if you got to see it or not. I got to talk to Jeff Daniels just briefly once when this was going on. The whole new redeployment of To Kill a Mockingbird. That Sorkin kind of I have not seen it. There was some controversy around it. He changed it up a bit. Did you see it? Do you have any opinions on it? Because
no,
I one of these guys.
I saw the movie, and it's a depressing movie. It didn't play Broadway. So I was kind of done.
It was gone by the time I got to Broadway.
Okay, just to me, Sorkin is one of these guys. He's sort of a toxic optimist, if you will. If I can put those two things together, there's the world that he wants to be. You remember, the West Wing was the Clinton administration with a non-Bill Clinton. Great, but that's not the way the world works. And by the way, how Andy was talking about how hard he's working just to make ends meet. Hey, Andy, wouldn't you like me want to go back when we could work for a couple of hours and bring home $50 when gas was $1.35 a gallon? During the toxic, awful Clinton era when we had cabs, when you could just go down to the cab office and get a cab, you didn't bring your own. Remember those horrifying, evil days when we made a freaking living?
What was the cheapest gas that you ever remember?
That was also one of those days when we had control we controlled it all.
When I got my driver's license,
when
I got my driver's license in 1976.
We didn't allow a pirate company to come in and wipe us out, you know?
Yeah, well.
What was the cheapest gas that you remember?
When I got my driver's license in 1976, I filled up the tank of my car for 53 cents a gallon.
Yes.
I was in California.
Yep.
Doing comedy.
Yeah.
And doing some acting.
Yeah.
It was 1970, and gas was 22 cents a gallon.
There you go.
Wow.
Well, California sits on an enormous reserve of natural petroleum.
But that's
one of
Sam. That was back. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go.
I was going to say, Sam, that was back when you could buy a home on one salary. You didn't have to have 8 people.
That's right. Yes.
Well, as I like to
you could buy a girl on 1 week's pay.
There you go.
It didn't take a whole week, Sam. You just had to have some career. I mean, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you got it. You know, I'm not that I would know about buying girls. Well, that reminds me.
We're going to have some. I'm going to be hosting some shows from Los Angeles in October. That's new. We'll talk about it off camera.
Now, I think I don't know if you were here for this, Jason. I'm having a sonogram tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
For my kidneys, and the good news is the doctor said it's not cancerous.
There you go.
So as long as it's not cancerous, I'm fine.
Right.
You know, they'll find out what's wrong, and they'll, have me donate it to someone I don't like. And so, but here's the thing. I told my family I couldn't go to that unveiling because of this. And so I thought, and all week long I'm saying to myself, you know what I ought to do? I ought to schedule the sonogram as close to the day of the unveiling as possible. And then I thought, Sam, you're working too fucking hard to perpetuate this lie. Just get it done. So I said, when can I get the sonogram? And they said, well, how's Tuesday? Tomorrow. And I said, that's fine. And so, then they said, drink 32, how much? Drink 32 ounces of water before you get there and show up with a full bladder.
Yeah, I guess so.
Ounces? I mean, if I drank 32 ounces of anything, man, they better be ready to go with that, because we're going to be doing a German, water sports exhibition.
I drink 8 glasses a day, but I space it out.
So someone looked at the circumcised.
Everybody who follows doctors' orders.
And also, I don't. It doesn't have to be water. It can be. You can't have regular tea, but it has to be. If you have decaffeinated tea, it can be decaffeinated tea or decaffeinated soda, as long as it's decaf. And so that's. I'll drink 32 ounces, and then I'll get there, and my pants will be soaked, and I'll go, too late. Sorry.
That's just one big gulp, guy. Okay.
I mean, I've had to go in for
when JD Vance.
Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mark.
I was going to say, when JD Vance was making his appeal, to the voters, he was join the Republican Party. Come on in. He's promoting the Republican Party for democracy. He's saying the Democrats are the ones that are anti-democratic. But anyway, his catch line was, "Come on in, the water's warm." And I thought, yeah, because you're all pissing in it.
Damn right.
The one thing people don't realize is, they talk about Biden being old, and he is, and they talk about him being having cognitive problems, and he does. But it's not like, there's a Mensa candidate on the other side. Yeah. And if Trump, for any reason, gets sick and dies, that's the last human being walking this planet I want being president.
Well, Vance
JD
did go
Vance.
to Yale Law.
Yeah.
Huh?
He did go to Yale Law School. He graduated from Yale Law.
Yes, so did Cruz. I rest my case.
Yeah. So
we've already talked about the fact that Ivy League doesn't mean real smart.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know. I flunked out.
It doesn't.
I flunked out of one of the top stab law schools.
No, it doesn't. No, I'm sorry. No. DeSantis went to Harvard, and I wouldn't let that guy count turds out of fertilizer.
Well, just you almost got your wish, because if the Biden sniper had missed or gotten the job
The
done.
Biden sniper.
The Biden the BSS, the Biden sniper service.
Biden sniper sounds like something in German.
Wow.
It does.
Yeah, I know. Trump says it was a God-given thing that missed the bullet, but I think it was actually the devil.
Well,
I'll tell you what I think.
Listen, when
Biden says there was so much blood, no, there wasn't. What are you talking about? There wasn't. Oh my God, the blood was just, and it was so much blood. You had time to tell people, "Stop! I want to put on my shoes." Shut up, you fat shit! Jesus Christ! You ought to be shot with a shit gun and hung for stinking.
Yeah, well.
Oh my God!
What can I say? We cut to Joe Biden going, "You had one job. You had one job."
And by the way, I know you have this predilection with saying Democrat, not Democratic, but it's not Kamala, it's Kamala. Whatever. So don't do that. Don't do that Republican shit where they're talking about it like she's a Nubian princess. Okay.
No, she's not. She's of Indian distract.
But that's my point. You know, it's not Kamala, it's Kamala.
And her grandfather was a slave owner, so we get to figure out a little better what her reparation percentage is going to have to be. So yeah, whatever. It's all good. We're getting near the election, boy. We're getting chippy, aren't we?
Listen, I used to be roommates with a guy, and I caught him reading a book saying Hitler had a point. So I'm nervous about. I'm nervous about everything. That's all.
Oh my God!
Actually, there was a guy who used to be one of the managers at the comic strip here in New York, and we used to play poker until I realized these guys got so drunk playing poker that one night Danny Vermont, who now writes for Bill Maher, he was so drunk he fell asleep on his chips. Okay. And he won the hand.
Nice.
Nice.
and another guy, he's playing guitar, and I go, Bobby, it's your bet. He goes, yeah, just a minute. And I went, I can't play poker with you guys. I can't. So I gather in my chips, and one of them says, well, how much did you win tonight? I said, $135. Well, that's more than I won. I said, that's because you're an alcoholic. you can't stop drinking. Well, I think you should give some of it back. I said, I think you need an encephalogram. I said, I'll see you. And they said, well, you can't play poker here anymore. I said, oh, no, God, how am I going to be able to pay rent? Get the fuck out of here, idiot. But anyway, one of the guys who was the manager of the club who got a little drunk started talking about, all these people talking about, the Holocaust. Who the hell knows what really happened?
Oh, my God.
Wow.
And yeah. And I didn't say a word. And I saw him a year later. I had moved to Vegas by that time, but I came back for a while. And he goes, man, how are you? I go, did you know that when you were drunk, you questioned the idea that the Holocaust took place? He goes, I did not. I held my hand up. I said, you did? And I don't want to talk to you.
Well, I got it.
And he goes, but I was drunk. I said, that's right. You were drunk. You had no governor. You had nothing dictating I should shut up.
You were saying but Sam, something that is concerning, and I'm around younger people a lot because the court order has been lifted. So there is this thing among the youngsters these days that
about young people, yeah.
No, well, they're great in a Speedo, which is more than I can say for you. I'm looking at you, Mark.
Sorry.
That. And no, the young people who really they honestly believe the Holocaust didn't happen.
Well, you know what that stems from, in my opinion.
The flat earth.
They don't read.
You're right. No, you are.
They don't read. They have no idea about history. None. Zero. None. If you ask them who was the president before Reagan, go take a nap.
Was before Obama. They don't know.
A lot of it has to do with the homeschooling aspect. And
I don't know
aspect
about that.
Is they took away any kind of funding for civics classes.
They
haven't taught civics for years.
I've heard the same thing from students going to the University of Michigan. Where they're screaming the Holocaust was a lie, it never happened. This is just the Jewish manipulation. The level of anti-Semitism amongst young people these days is genuinely frightening.
What would happen if you said to those people, slavery never happened? Those people wanted to work
Their heads
here.
would explode. Their heads would literally, they can't handle contrary opinions to begin with, A. B, when something sort of goes against their doxy, their orthodoxy, if you will, they can't handle. They have no ability. You and I can sit down, we can trade barbs, we can yell, we might even get heated about something, but we would at least be substantive about what we are trying to get across.
Well, when you say
it's weird.
When you say trade barbs, that's my wife's name, and I'm more than willing to listen to an offer.
Trade barbs.
Trade barbs. Barbs.
I mean,
is there a particular barb you'd like to trade for?
Because I think we have one right here, the 1957 barb.
Don't we have to have like a little bowl with some car keys that we throw in or something?
That's barb Vanna.
Does anyone even remember swinger parties? I remember they used to happen in the neighborhood I grew up in.
I catered them.
Yeah. Well, it ended when one of the participants' wife got a little mad about something, and she ended up stabbing the dude that she went home with, and it kind of scandalized the whole block. My parents were mercifully not involved in this sort of sordid behavior, but we certainly were well aware of it. There was about a dozen little the horse. They were married horse is what they were. Yeah.
There was a guy when was this? In the early 70s. I lived in a really nice neighborhood here in DC, and this guy came to a party, and he brought his ex-wife, and we're talking, the three of us, and he said, I have to go now, but everybody take care. I'll see you later. And I said to her, didn't he bring you to the party? And she said, yes. I said, well, how are you getting home? Well, he was thinking that you and I would spend the night together. I go, do you think that? I said, first of all, is that something you want to do? And secondly, the bathroom's right there on the right. No. And secondly, what, suppose you didn't want to. What's he doing? Well, it seems kind of cynical. I said, I'm a big boy. What was it? Well, he thinks that if you and I get together and get along, we could get married, and that'll stop him from having to pay alimony. I said, you should kill him, because no jury will convict you. I said, do you understand how stupid he is? Let's say that you and I hook up. And that expression didn't exist then, but let's say you and I hook up, and things are going well. Now 6, 7, 8, 9 months go by. Okay, he's still paying alimony. Yeah. Okay, and then a year and a half goes by. He's still paying alimony. Do you have any concept of how stupid he is? She goes, and she looks at me. She goes, did I mention he's my ex? I said, but did you realize he was going to leave you here with me? Well, I don't live that far from here. I could always catch a cab. I said, oh, okay. All right. I didn't want you to be under the impression that you were like, that this is like, chapter 22 of The Collector. I mean, I can't, there's a possibility. Thank you. There's a possibility that, maybe you find me repulsive or something like that. You don't, do you? No. And she said, no, you seem nice enough. I don't know if I'm going to sleep with you. And of course it was the 70s. So she did.
She did. Yeah.
Oh God. Because that's what people did then. You know what time it is? Yeah. I want to sleep with you. Okay. Well, then it's time to go to bed.
Time to do that. Yeah. Yeah. No, the kiddies today, man, they think they had like some bad kind of virus with COVID. And it's like, well, honey, it was irritating. I'll grant you that. But we had one. Oh, and it was a delight. It was a real treat. That by the way, it killed you, and people laughed at you while you died. It was great. You should have been there. Tremendous time. You if you wonder why I'm a little bit coarse these days, it's because perhaps that was the tenor of the times that shaped the personality that I now have to walk around with.
You know what happened? The 70s were swinging. The 80s were kind of swinging.
Yeah.
And then came AIDS.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We were the bringers of the gay plague of the 80s, which would spread to everyone else, of course. But we all knew that Rock Hudson was straight, of course, didn't we?
You talk about a guy who should be excoriated for his behavior. I mean, he had sex, he had AIDS, and had knowingly had sex with people, and he had AIDS, and he knew it.
Yeah, well, to be fair, so did John Holmes. In fact, Johnny Holmes was, it's funny about John.
Yeah,
Holmes,
but there's something to be said about a man who you can drape your bath towel on, if you know what I mean.
I read my favorite review of one of his. He had a best of tape. Back then when we had
the
tape,
best of.
The best of.
That's hysterical. That's hysterical.
If you've seen it, it's very redundant, over and over, same thing.
It's just the same schlong.
Well, that's what Hustler magazine said in its review. If you like looking at a giant, uncircumcised, hideous, ugly cock, then maybe you should buy 2 of these tapes. I mean,
I read
the reviews.
I wiped up. That's the review,
Well, you guys were married back then. I mean, what did porn even mean to you guys at that point in time? Seriously, you're a married couple. You got kids. You're not worried about going down to the swinging doors at the video hut place. Whereas me,
but there were guys whose wives wanted to go do that.
Yeah.
The JC Penney catalog lingerie section was pornography to my wife. So
yeah,
you remember that line from the masturbation episode? What was it called? The challenge on Seinfeld.
On Seinfeld, yeah. I'm out.
Master of my domain.
No, my favorite thing was the fact that George was masturbating to Glamour magazine. That to me was one of the greatest lines in the history of comedy. I was reading Glamour. You were what? And also him looking at the silhouette of the nurse, the knockout nurse, sponge bathing, the knockout, and George goes, George, I'm hungry. Just a minute, Ma. George, I said, Ma.
Just a minute.
Yeah, but and when Kramer goes, all right, I'm in, and Seinfeld goes, you'll be out before they bring the check.
Whereas I could have been, a script editor for John Leslie. I mean, someone should have done it. I mean, if you're familiar with his oeuvre, I know I've said it before, but I'll say it one more time. Ginger Lynn, who once said, working with John Leslie is just like having sex with your husband after you've been married for 9 years.
Wow, that's not fun.
No. Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's. Woo.
Well, somebody said George H.W. Bush looks like every woman's second husband.
Oh man. Well, I mean, he's a Bush. Well, he married his grandmother. I mean, Barbara always looked like what?
You know something? She was really pretty until about
1872,
1985 or so, when she went gray or went white-haired and got heavy. But she was when she was younger, she was a nice-looking girl. And don't forget, she was a descendant of Franklin Pierce, one of the most virulent, racist, redneck, slave-holding presidents of all time.
And she knew. And what birthday party of his did she attend? I mean, because
that was the one at Madison Square Garden, I believe. So,
well, was it Pierce or Taylor that we had the war with Mexico? My memory
Taylor.
A little Taylor. Okay,
Taylor,
because he really lights the fuse to the Civil War.
54-40 at fight.
Yes, because Taylor's westward expansion is what creates the pressures that eventually.
Well, James K. Polk had that thing about manifest destiny.
Yep. Hey, all you young people, listen up.
And that created one of the great myths of all time. That the Alamo were these brave men who came. No, we took the land from Mexico. We just stole it. Yeah. Okay, we stole it. Well, and Davy Crockett Oh, by the way, one of my favorite things that they never do in these movies is Jim Bowie, who was played by Richard Widmark in John Wayne's The Alamo. He tells his slave, who was Jester Hairston, by the way, tells his slave, listen, it doesn't look good, so you're free to go. and the slave goes, well, if I'm free, I can do what I want to do, right? And he said, yeah, well, I choose to stay. And somebody in my audience goes, you fucking moron. Are you nuts? And then, but my take on it was, that, what, you know, in the movie, the Santa Anna's people burst through the door, and the slave, oh God, this is so pathetic, throws himself on Bowie and takes the bayonets that were meant for Bowie. And then they toss him aside, and Bowie goes to fight, and all you see is his face, like from the chest down. You see all these knives go into him. And I'm thinking, you know, if I'm that slave, I go, I'll be right back. And you go up to the Santa Ana people and go, he's in that door. Right? No, not there. That's Crockett. Right
that
there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Am I free to do what I want? Yeah, I choose to stay. You idiot.
We were creating a myth, Sam. Come on. You know that. I know that. I mean, first off, we're old enough to remember the Alamo in a first person sort of way.
Well, you know, people now, kids, people, I hate saying this, but the kids today, if you say to them, do you know anything about the Alamo? Well, yeah, they're cheaper than Avis, but
exactly.
You
know. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God! Just, you know, it's getting back to my point. It is a nightmare if these kids don't know history, and it genuinely frightens me when they don't know the Holocaust. It's not because you have to have great reverence. My point is that if you don't understand these horrific events, then the possibility that something like it or near to like it could happen again goes up in some incremental way.
Well, what's that famous quote? People who ignore history are doomed to repeat it.
Yeah, pretty much. But
yes.
you know, we had the Armenian Holocaust, which the Turks to this day deny ever happening. You know, what about the pogroms of the Tsarist times, which again people no one said anything about, no one cared about. Well,
as the Greeks used to say, "Klato barata nikto."
Yeah. Wouldn't you be funny if you like mix those up and you said something like Barata or Klaatu something, and then Gort ends up like vaporizing you, going on this terrible thing and destroying most of the earth. And
you got Gort right behind you.
Yeah, I know. It becomes a very different movie if she gets those three words mixed up.
There.
God, who didn't love Patricia Neal in that movie? Who didn't love her in HUD? Oh my God, what a great actor. There are no great actresses like her anymore.
She won the Oscar. Melvin Douglas won the Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
But
Paul Newman.
Paul gets nothing. And I don't.
And what they gave him the Oscar for, he didn't deserve. The Color of Money.
Terrible movie. It's an okay movie.
Yeah, but it was okay. But if you could listen, what he should have won for, Running Away.
The Hustler.
Well, all right, that's another one then. But I was going to say the Verdict.
Yes.
Yeah, The Verdict, great movie.
And they gave it to Ben Kingsley, who was in a movie called Gandhi, which should have been called 48 Hours.
Yeah.
Jesus. You know.
Yeah. No.
But those are the days when you gave Oscars to people who were in not classic, big dramatic films. Like, you know what I saw the other day, speaking of that? I watched Ben-Hur for the first time in 40 years.
Oh God, what a great
movie. It's a great movie.
Great movie. What in the
You know what I watched this? I watched
the best of John Holmes.
No, for the first time since college, I watched The General.
The what?
Buster
Keaton.
General.
Buster Keaton
is the General.
Oh man!
Is that the one where they have the trains hit the train crash on the bridge?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's a real effect. Over the week.
And by the way, you were talking.
No,
you were talking about what a great movie.
You got to do that in one take.
Yeah,
you were talking about what a great movie Ben-Hur was.
Yeah.
When I think about what it took to film that chariot race.
Yeah, a month.
Oh my God! I mean, it's just staggering what they had to do.
I got to go watch that again.
Oh man!
Watching Charlton Heston all muscled up, covered in sweat, with the whip in his hand, with the horses
and
running.
Hugh Griffith as the Sheik.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And where was he from? Where's he from? New South Wales, Australia.
Exactly. Where else would he be? Well, did they have one under
Stephen Boyd as the villain?
Stephen Boyd as Masala.
He died when he was like 45.
I didn't know they had AIDS back then.
No, not him. He died of a heart attack.
Oh,
it was always nice to know that the Romans had English accents,
Not everybody's gay, Jason. Just most of the people in Hollywood and the Republicans on Capitol Hill.
But is there anyone else? Is there really, Sam? I think that's enough.
I told you that movie I saw, Outrage.
No, what?
It's a movie about Republican congressmen who virtually voted against every single bill that might help gay people.
Right.
And the ones who did it the most were gay.
Well, yeah. What
and there was a guy, a Republican congressman who was like an up and coming star in the party.
Yeah, I bet he
David
was.
Dreyer. Do you remember him?
Yes, I remember.
I remember him. Yeah.
And a good-looking guy, well-spoken, witty.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he was nominated to be president of the Republican House.
Yeah.
Not speaker, but And they said that they gave some excuse for him not being able to do it. And what they mentioned in the movie was whenever he went on a fact-finding mission, his assistant was always
his nephew
would come in the next day. But he literally disappeared off the face of the earth.
Yeah, what happened to him?
I don't know.
Oh boy, I mean, who was the one?
I mean, he's right now. I don't know if he's old. I don't know if he's 60.
The one back in 2006 or 7, who was like texting one of the pages, who's like, "Hey, did you beat off today, kid? Do you have any pictures?"
Oh, I remember. Yeah, I can't remember. Foley.
Foley, there you. And if you see a picture of him, it's like you can see that his campaign picture should be him with a half a dozen dicks in his mouth.
But listen, if you ever heard him talk, okay, this is my impression of Foley. Me.
Exactly.
I mean. But there was another guy. There was a woman, a congresswoman, whose father was a big shot in the Republican Party of New York, Guy Molinari, and Susan Molinari, and she was married to a guy. I think his name was Dave Paxton.
Yes.
And he once again dropped off the face of the earth. Now I have no reason for knowing this. I don't know this, but I think with him, the suspicions about his orientation are probably valid. Because I mean, listen, I live in New York. I would have heard something about him. Anything.
Yeah.
Anything. Well, he's an umpire in the AAA. Something. And there's nothing. Nothing.
What is it? LBJ had an aide when he was in the Senate.
Walter Jenkins.
Yeah, who got busted in
the men's room. Yeah. In the men's room at Lafayette Park.
Doing the George Mahara special. Did you ever think Martin Milner looked at him and just said, "Do you have to smell like Vaseline when you show up on the set? Do you have?"
Which leads me to the very funny. I don't know if you saw this. It's not a growing list, but it's a list of Hollywood actors who don't use deodorant.
Oh my God! Oh no!
Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
But this is my favorite. Matthew McConaughey, and he was in a movie with what's her name, Hudson.
Kate Hudson.
Kate Hudson.
Yeah.
And she said, "Listen, if you're not going to use deodorant, use rock salt. Okay, it gets rid of the odor." And the interviewer said, "Well, how do you know that?" She goes, "Oh, I don't use deodorant." And I went, "Man, there's a double date from hell." Oh my God! Can you imagine? Did someone order clams? Because Jesus. Oh my God.
Oh my God. You guys are all going to hell. You're all condemned.
I'm going to hell. At least I'll smell good. Oh my God.
I'm going to hell for the Guilfoyle extension of the sign of the cross. So I'll go to hell for that.
Yeah, that one. That's going to be.
I'll go to hell for that. That's a good one. So
yeah, there you go. I mean, yeah, I mean in all honesty, this whole thing that's going on with our current president, because if he's too sick to run, in this particular context, I believe he should be turning this over to Kamala to Vice President Harris.
But you know what, though?
You mean now?
He should be tendering his resignation, and she should
I don't
be in
think
charge.
that's a bad idea.
I don't think it's a bad idea.
I think it's.
The Republicans are the Republicans are calling for it, and they're stupid for doing that because that gives her even more of an advantage if she's the president.
It doesn't matter, Mark. We need to have someone who's literally. You have to have someone who is there.
Because
she has to have the code.
I agree. And by the way, if his age is an issue, which it obviously is,
yeah.
Okay, then this is what we're in July. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So what happens in September when he can't he can't remember people who work with him?
Right. This is not Edith Wilson time. This is a modern time, and no, she needs to. I don't care. Look, I care about living. Okay, presidents come and go. I mean, they're irritating or not. They get things done or they don't. But I don't wish to live, or as many jokes as I make, I really don't want to hear. Oh, by the way, we've detected a missile launch. Y'all got 15 minutes. I'd rather not.
That's my big fear. That
you should
Joe
be
Biden.
Afraid of it.
The last thing that Joe Biden does as president is this button. No.
It goes,
no.
Can't
have
it. And I believe that Miss Harris is far more intelligent than she's let on. I believe she's played the role of the boob for a reason.
Who now?
Look where it's got her. She's vice president of the United States, and she is slotted in for the top slot in the corporation. So, I mean, whatever her strategy was, seems to have worked, right?
That's true.
She's
got to be a better choice than a man in his mental state.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, absolutely. President Biden needs to tender his resignation. He can do it on medical grounds. No one's going to, at this point, what difference would it make? I mean, LBJ, you remember in March of '68 when LBJ says, I will not accept the nomination of my party.
Nor will
I remember I was sitting at the dinner table when that happened. My mother's jaw about hit the table. Not because my dad was there, and never mind.
He lost Walter Cronkite, and that was the final straw.
My brother hated Nixon, him, and when Nixon resigned, my brother, we're watching it on TV. It was August 9th or August 8th. He left on the 9th.
Right.
And my brother went, this is very, very bad for the country. This is very, very bad. And my brother hated him. But he said it's very bad for the country because that seamless transition of power, which won't exist if Vance becomes vice president.
But
Nixon needed.
Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, Nixon needed today's Supreme Court. That's what Nixon needed.
Well, I know we say that, but Nixon wasn't doing anything that other politicians weren't doing. His biggest problem, we've all said it, he got caught. Those tapes.
But here's the thing about this court: it's not that they're right wing; it's the corruption. It's what's his name? No, it's Clarence Thomas taking money from people about whom he makes decisions. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've had bad Supreme Court justices,
and our wife Latina never has done anything along those lines. The lady who let slip the whole Roe v. Wade decision, and a few other little goodies, or putting on Obama's personal attorney, in the form of what's her name, that absolutely incompetent bubblehead. I've read several of her decisions. Oh my God. And of course, I'm showing my own ignorance by not knowing her name is, or Ketanji Brown saying she doesn't know how to define a woman. It's like you're a jurist on one of the highest appeals courts in the land, and you're a mother of two, and you can't sit there and answer a question about how to define a woman. Okay, Fine.
We are approaching 1 hour.
There you go. There we go. So I mean, we'll see what happens.
It's hard.
But that's talking about someone not being up to the job. That's not someone who's taking bribes.
They all take bribes in one way or another. No.
It's not one way or another. No, you're dealing with a guy who collects Nazi memorabilia. The fact that it's a black guy who's doing it is so ironic. I can't taste it.
He collects Nazi memorabilia. Oh my God.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with that. Here's the problem with that theory. He would be voting the way he votes that way anyway.
That's right.
If he had to pay for those votes, he'd pay for them. You know what I mean? That's just the way Clarence Thomas votes. And he doesn't need stipends and gifts and trips and all that stuff for him to vote that way. He's going to vote that way anyway.
Mr. Cooper is good white people.
Well, there you go.
That's my favorite line from Malcolm X.
Oh, God.
Mr. Cooper is good white people.
Oh, shit. Okay, so can we go out on a positive note? Reuben Carter did it. All right, I got to go.
Who is that behind you? That's Martin Mull.
I wasn't paying attention.
Look at that. Martin Mull's a Nazi. Who knew?
All right. Hold on here. Let me get the music back out here because I just realized.
Let the music play.
We've gone over time here. All right.
Oh no, we've gone over.
So that's time. That's right. So anyway, thanks for joining us. Another hour of your time wasted, but this is a good one. Go back, tell people about episode 220.
This is a lively and spirited exchange.
One to put in the archives. Dennis. It was. I think so. Anyway, we'll see everybody next week. At 8 o'clock. All of you guys, stick around. I need to talk to you after the show. All right.
I have to do one thing. I have to put some batteries in the